Good afternoon. It is March 3rd, 2022, and today, really just looking at a range day. We definitely had a downward bias to this range. And now I'm looking at it, maybe there's something here. No, not really. So, just a range day, and today was definitely a day where you might have had something. Yours chart may look different than mine. I was seeing possibilities on a steeper, a less steep channel right here off of these two highs. But in the end, I do believe this is accurate. You can even see, like right here, maybe not there. These three maybe. No, but even like extremely short term, you can see the spike in channel down right there. I'll get into that when we go through these trades, but you really, like Mac always says, man, you gotta play these short term trends, and be aware that we're not trending strong down, so prices are probably trying to work higher here. And you can see we made like a triple test of this overnight range midline, and then we started going down. That's why we got a strong leg down. I think we're trying to work lower here. No setup, but before I started this video, I was waiting on either a failed second entry long, which actually looks like first entry technically here, but I don't like this setup, to be honest. I'm looking for a second entry. And to be honest, I might even take it. The problem is we're going into these lows, but I was thinking we were trying to retest those lows. It looks like we actually didn't successfully do that. So let's see if we have an order, and I'm about to take this if we get a second entry short. So this would be aggressive at this point because you're going straight into these lows. So I think what you would want to do, if anything, is probably... I'm feeling pretty confident, so I'm going to get my order ready, but now, yeah, the signal bar ends up no good, so I'm not going to take that. And maybe, I think to enter this, you would have to wait for it to break lower and then drop like a limit order all the way up here. Because this, to me, first entry, failed second entry. When it breaks below this bar, this just looks like one leg down, so I'm just not too crazy about that. I do like this even now, but I'm just not gonna risk that. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, sorry to get off on a tangent. So in the overnight, we found some resistance right along here, and I think that was it looks like that's the midline between these lows and these highs. So you can see we formed some resistance, and that actually would be a trade that I'd probably consider right here, but that's at 339. And then we bounce and make this higher low. And the reason I drew a square here is because you can see all of these moves get another leg to them. Maybe this leg down is preceded by the break, and then this leg down. This leg down is preceded by this congestion and then a move to a new low, or a small little range and a move to a new low. But even if you go inside here, look, a move up, break, second leg up, I guess no leg. Yeah, well, actually, I was looking at it like this is one leg up, and then another leg, and then one leg up here, and another leg. So when we got this one leg up, this looked like there would be another leg up, but it's just not a good enough setup to take. We just trend not far away from the EMA. And we come up here and we form a level of a range. Basically, we get an overshoot of this channel that leads to a break. And it looks like there's some support right here. So when it breaks and makes a new low and we test it once and then a second time, it looks like we're going to go lower. We just don't get a good setup here. But this right here, this higher or lower high, it's just way too far from the EMA. It's probably like 29 ticks. It's just crazy, man. first entry, second entry short. That doesn't set up. And you know, you're expecting prices to come back and try and at least test these highs. So I did like this failure setup. And if you're feeling aggressive, you can see this level of resistance. Prices failed to go higher twice already. So when you get this very bearish bar that far from the EMA, you might consider that. But it's a third entry, so but that does get you a nice move. We had a first entry, second entry up here, but no setup, and then we just start trending down pretty clearly. You can see it bounce off the midline right here, some congestion at the midline right here, and if you draw your trend line off of these two highs, we are moving down, and I don't see anything in here that I like. We come down here to the bottom of the channel, form this congestion. You can see prices are pretty far from the EMA at this point, chopping back and forth, and we get a failed break higher out of this range. But it's very choppy. So you're going into the midline, what I had as the midline. Really, I'm sure what this is some type of like correction. But I had it drawn as a range. So when we break through this level of support right here and make a lower high, that's pretty convincing that we are going down to test these lows with how strong this trend down was. You're going into the lows, but it looked pretty good. Too far from the EMA, very congestive here, no entries. Now we haven't tested the low of this trend line in a while, and you can see that leads to a break. This looks like it might be a counter trend break higher, but you might get a second leg at that point, and we made a new low. So, you know, we're not too sure yet what's going. Is this after the break anyway? We're not too sure. Okay, well, we broke this trend channel, and this isn't a great setup. So to go short. So this thing might rocket up. You don't know. But it pretty much immediately makes a new low and then reverses. I don't see anything in here that I like particularly. We wouldn't have had this trend channel drawn. You get a first entry, failed second entry. Okay, so I think that's a good one. I didn't see that this was a failure. I was just looking at it as a second entry long, and it's not a great signal bar. On the failure, the signal bar doesn't matter as much, so but it does set up beneath the EMA. So this is a very questionable trade, but it looked good. It's just the signal bar didn't finish great, so that's definitely aggressive. And then we get a failure up here, and I was going back and forth between marking this green or blue, but we are moving up. We got a strong leg up here, a strong leg up here, a strong leg up here. It's not a second entry long, but it's a failed second entry short, and these are making, you can see they're higher lows. Okay, so, and we're making higher highs too. That looks like a level of support in itself. And so I'm sure some people had their midline like that, but I got mine something like this. And then we come up here, and you know, at this point you're like, okay, well, I mean, are they not gonna test these lows? I was thinking they would. And so when we get a break of that, you can see it's probably, here's how I was looking at it. We had this channel, we had a break, 1, 2 legs up to a new high. When that channel up, that short-term channel up breaks, for those of you who aren't following, this channel breaks and we get an attempt at a new high, and look how far we are from the EMA with a very bearish signal bar. I liked that. I like that. That's aggressive, but I like that. And I like even more this failed second entry long that sets up very well. Just for scalp, we don't know. Because, yeah, the possibility of us being in an uptrend that will take us to these highs, it is on the table. But right here, good enough for a scalp? I think so, right here. And then when we bounce here, it started to look like, okay, you can see the greater trend line. It doesn't confirm it, but with this looking like a level of resistance up here, it's kind of convincing to me. And so when we get this first entry, failed second entry long, I'm thinking we're at least going to test these highs, and we went much further. Came up here, and we come down here and bounce again off that trend line, and that's a second entry long. So I think you have to take that. I marked it as aggressive, but if you happen to have your trend channel drawn correctly there, that looks very good. And we get a first entry, failed second entry long right here. Again, off the trend channel. You got to take that. And this is not technically a failed second entry short, but it looks like it. So that's pretty convincing too. Then we come down here, make a double top up here, sell off a bit, and we make a low right here, test it once, test it twice, with room back to the EMA, and it's a second entry long. I like this. I like this entry. And then we test it again with an extremely bullish bar, and this is off the trend line, and it confirms this trend line. I think you gotta go long there, and that gets you a nice move up. And then this is actually a second entry long. It looks like a breakout pullback of this price level, so I marked that as aggressive because it's congestive up here and not feeling too comfortable. But that leads to a sell-off, and we come down to this price level, and we break down a little further, but then we form this channel up, and this, if I got a higher low here, I would consider a good signal bar, I would consider going long there, but you don't, and then you get this higher low, and it's very bullish, so I think that looks good enough for a scalp. And then we bounce off of that trend channel, and that confirms that, but it's not a good setup. This looks pretty darn good. I was talking about this at the beginning of the video, but yeah, that's too much stem for me. So anyway, that's what I saw. Take a look at the trades I took. I took a little too many trades that I didn't mean to take on my real account, so to speak. I like this entry. I like this entry. Break. Failed second entry short. Test at least this price level. I like that entry. Let's see what else we got. So I got stopped out going long here. Did I take a second entry long here? What a terrible idea. I don't know what. Oh, okay. What? Oh, no, I went short here. Oh, okay. Yeah, no. That's, yeah, I like that. I like that. Lower high, just to ride it back to the EMA, and it actually goes further. Okay, I got stopped out going short here. I'm not sure how I entered this. I don't know what's going on there. Terrible idea. Went long here. Great entry. I don't know what I was thinking over here. Did I enter? And it says I entered short on this bar. So that's strange. I went long here. I guess I was looking at this as a first failed second entry. Yeah, I must have been. And yeah, I got a limit order. I was like, oh well, I think this is gonna go higher. And I got a limit order. I came in after this bar had formed. So yeah, I think that's reasonable. And I didn't mark it. And yeah, I mean, I was like, okay, I think this is gonna go higher. It's a fairly good entry price. It looks like it's a double test maybe. So that's reasonable, I think. All right, long here. I went long here. Okay, yeah, that's aggressive, but makes sense. And then I went long here. I was looking at that as like a second entry long with a bad signal bar. That's pretty aggressive. I hope I entered on a limit order. I would want to enter on a better limit order than that. That's too aggressive, to be honest. So those are the trades I took today. I hope everyone had a blessed day, and I'll be back tomorrow. Let me get that off.